Okay, welcome back to part 20 of Disco Elysium. We're still on the other side of the bridge, maybe finding the husband of that old lady, the cryptozoologist or whatever his title or his work is. Yeah, we're gonna look around more on this side of the bridge before we get back to the hotel and then to the union leader.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope, a 12 to 40 month construction period, and the zoning plan. The youth center cuts into the... It's going to be awfully close to the already existing
We
buildings,
already done
almost
this.
wall to wall. This is either an ominous or cool... My money is on...
We need to mail it. Why can't I just... Why do I have to go around?
The worn and beaten...
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder.
You can revisit the bench.
This place is huge. Or it just feels like it, maybe. That wasn't worth the run around. Okay, let's just check around the beaches here before we conclude. But where's the mailbox on the plaza? Does it mean on the other side of the bridge, or is there a plaza here?
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to... You hear the tone. The machine is inoperable. Calling. Still calling. This feels wrong. End of tone.
Pierre? Is that you, Pierre? Do you have any news about Pierre? Sure you do. No one has any. You're either a salesman or a statistician of some kind. I am not interested in cooperating. To hell with the police. To hell with you.
Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like waves washing a beach. You get a sinking feeling. It makes you look if Lieutenant gets around.
Yeah, let's not make any more prank calls, I guess.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad. It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth.
Sounds like mine, right?
It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately,
Please tell me you're not taking that with you. A clue? You think our suspect is a seagull who's been defecating on unsuspecting jacket? Me neither.
you should still take it. As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound. It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it? It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore. Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then the faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, the jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the railing. The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened to it then? It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck. Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. This is...
Okay, that wasn't a successful investigation of anything. Getting rich on this side of the bridge.
the smell. It's awful and familiar. Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that.
Uh-huh.
Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. It is death. It must be. The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose.
Seriously, I'm gonna save before we die here. I'm too invested in this game to just die and end it like this, but I want to know what this dead body is doing here.
There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter.
A tragedy.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as it's no older. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper.
The same kind of wrapper that I have in my pocket.
Half of his body has slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the right leg. The fall has left him broken, contorted like a sad
accident.
puppet.
Hold on. Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself. Calm now. Carefully. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his mustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age, approximately 50 to 60 years. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist. Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall. The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too?
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario, even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
A .75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Tear all around us. I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is what killed him.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you? Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
I'm not gonna step on the floorboards. I don't want to push my luck now.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
From where I stand, I can see 2 options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle. Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central General. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
I wanted to hear the end of that. They don't want sunlight through the south side for what?
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Untitled. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here.
Nice to meet you.
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into Worms lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is, this used to be the R&D department of Feld Electrical. And Feld, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve. I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for an elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machine, which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZUM? Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins. All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now...
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Tape computers. They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars. What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created commune of Revachol on the...
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bon Baiser dans le Lind. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any... Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking...
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the...
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Joost?
The Womty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose
names,
to...
I guess.
In fact, I'm not. The Womty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibit. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionary setting fire to this precious device. Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. But of course, what else? No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain.
Pick your brain, if anything.
Here for loot, not interesting stories. One just throws money everywhere. This must be the scientist or wherever that we're looking for. You, get back to your wife.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officers.
Is that the police? Why are the police here?
Shut up and maybe we'll tell you.
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it. To what do I owe the pleasure? I'm just busy. What's this about? Of course. Thank you for passing along the message. That damn water lock is broken, and we can't go all the way around the 881.
The 881 is a raised motorway that separates Martinez from Jamrock.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary! We can go soon! If you see Lena, tell her I won't be long.
Sir, your wife is waiting for you.
I just have to do one more round. See if the phasmid has taken the bait. Then we're going.
I don't know if this is worth it. We'll just go through it fast without listening.
Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find. Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodea, a ghost insect, it and I suspect it may have also developed other specialized... It's my hypothesis that it has evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
Impeding, but I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they evolve.
A ghost insect, he said? These people are...
I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One known species of phasmid, called the
Yeah, I don't wanna
Megaphasmodea
meet
zoensis,
those.
is about the size of a grown man's forearm. So, very little, I'm sorry to say. Not yet.
Just out of curiosity, if there's no proof of its existence, how do you know it's real?
I know it's real.
It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than the...
By which I mean, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the Insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition. There was a credible sighting here recently. A pair of teenagers described a creature that matched... It's the first credible sighting in several... I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary...
He means asexual reproduction. The females of the species don't need to mate to produce viable eggs. This makes it easier for a species with a small population to survive.
And it shouldn't. Nature does not
Why did I say
concern
that
herself with
out
ethical
loud?
propositions. As a scientist, my interest is strictly dispassionate. Well, yes. Simple. Attracted by the locusts. At least, that's the intention. Locusts. Nearly...
Inside the traps, a number of locusts crawl. A meat-eating stick insect. Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? This seems unlikely.
Thank you for your opinion. We have also
Not a big fan of skepticism, this one.
Yes.
Enough of that.
Hello, Yellow Man.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows slightly and takes out his notebook.
Did he say yellow man?
Yellow man. Interesting. This is something to ask him about.
Yeah,
after
are
a
you the
little
guy with the
probing first.
mugs?
I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps so we can return to civilization. I like nature, just not this bloody.
Degenerates. This man respects authority too much. To see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage. Pretend thou art a paragon of virtue.
Oh, I've been tempted. But someone has to stay strong for Revok.
He pronounces Revocol.
I like to pronounce it the hard way. The old way.
The stupid
I
way.
don't like him.
He winks at you, trying to relay some hidden message, inviting you to mispronounce it too. perhaps. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably. Garbage. You're a true patriot, and you know how it's said. The Seren way. The fine way.
My mug? Why would you think that? Really? I hear it all the time. All in jest, of course. No offense meant to anyone. Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and you're not going to find me, are you? Whew. Thank you. You won't regret this. I don't know what got into me, really.
Did you get
Work has
access
been
to the
stressful
locked
lately.
trash?
Damn Koiko's price dumping us
place?
out of competition.
What did you do, Gary?
Nothing. I know a guy who works with the trash collection services, CS Municipal. He gave me a master key for
Why
the
do you
trash
want that?
containers of Martinez,
Yeah, exactly.
so I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Hemians run it like a I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs.
Disgraced. No need for the histrionic, sir. It was, after all, just a trash container.
He studies his reaction. Gary doesn't answer.
Officer, please. Let me explain. It's not like that. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged, and I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them into the Whirling's trash, along with a broken... Okay. I was coming to throw the mug away, and, well, I threw the mug there and the clothes too.
Right. It was just civic duty.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Civic duty. Armor? No. I mean, yes. Of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't...
An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing.
I hope I could help your investigation, in my small way.
I will come back to you.
Does this mean you were in his apartment, admiring his colonial mug collection?
I told you everything I know, sir. I'm truly sorry.
Uncomfortable shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though. It's something.
Not many Sealites here, or anywhere, other than Sale. I meant no offense, truly. Oh, yes. Of course he is. I was just speaking about his... connections. Sure do, officer. In my home. Yes. When I was going to... How did you know? Mr. Clare unlocked my apartment? So you work for Everard Clare? Officer, please tell him we're good. No, tell him I'll make it up to him. What have I done? He'll send the muscle after me. I was probably talking too loud in the Whirling the other night. About some theories. Stupid. I won't do it again. If there's anything I can do to assist you, or the Union, just ask, okay?
This scared him proper. He's positively melting from fear. Has to prop himself up with a lot of anger to keep it together.
The weather vane has turned. He cannot be unturned.
He clearly liked his squirming. He may even have changed his mind about the whole door opening operation.
No.
After all this time with Morel, he must have an opinion on cryptids.
Oh, yes. The burning, a rhinoceros that looks ordinary. They have special ducts.
But how is this combustible fluid?
The rhino starts running very fast to build heat, then stops, raises its head, and sparks fly from its neck, setting its back ablaze. Yeah, well, Revocol used to be a flaming rhino once, a long time ago.
Super solid argument, Gary. Can't argue.
The flames are not just for decoration. During the burning rhino, local peasants...
The lieutenant sighs, without looking. It's clear the burning rhino is dear to him on many levels. Some even spiritual. That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath. Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once. I was ashamed of what I did, and I didn't want you to know.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth.
Gary, what's going on?
Later, Morale. I've got to apologize.
No, you've got explaining to do.
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard. So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left. So I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble...
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter anyone.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Sealite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly.
I always thought it was the Union, but I sure as hell won't go around saying that anymore. You have my word.
This is all he knows.
Because I was weak. I should...
The hell, Gary? You in trouble?
I'll explain later.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat, but so light to hold. Like...
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again. I won't mess with Mr. Clare either. You have my word.
I don't care about this, Mr. Clare.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez, meaning this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days.
The lieutenant also nods. It is quite a scene. He nods in agreement. It really is a very serious scene, worth shaking your head over.
All right. I'm glad we stopped when we did. My neck was starting to hurt. If there's nothing more, we should get going.
A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall.
Yeah, what I
There are many of
suspected.
them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound. No movement. 10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. Snowflakes fall on the wooden planks and the surrounding sand dunes, covering the land with
Is
the
this
white
the
of
engineers?
incense. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all. The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed. A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations. As they stand, facing the wall, it's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side. But from which one? The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the...
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe...
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was a commandant.
A cold sea wind.
back here at least. Did we find the church? Okay, can't click that one. This is the church, I guess.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to them. Nothing happens, only the sound of the padlock.
I don't think that's going to work.
The carving on the door is block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold. The doors remain unchanged, closed with a padlock. This cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is a door. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting, somehow. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before, but what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve, there is something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. It's the contrast between the cheery, chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead, or the dead guy didn't care that he was. Either way, you get the sense, the forces of future. He takes off his glasses and uses a blue handkerchief to thoroughly wipe them clean before inspecting.
No. Looks like a dead man smiling. Suggests junior delinquency. I haven't seen that sticker before, and I'm not a youth. That level of conceptual thinking is not part of my skill set.
Your hands are clammy from
Come
the
on.
sea air. The piece of sticker keeps slipping away. The lieutenant hands you a blue handkerchief. He looks a little dismayed when he gets it back crumpled. However, it should be. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Looks like today was a gold star day. The padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. The work has been done recently. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off.
Maybe we should circle the building first and look for another way. The building has seen enough mistreatment. Yes, the pulsing base. A sure sign of
There's something on the sea ice there.
I don't see another entry point, but I see a lot of... Sorry, Kim. This is my secondary job.
A shaggy-looking girl in her late teens or early 20s kneels on the ice with an electronic control.
Oh, hello there.
Everyone knows drugs make you invulnerable to cold. You bet this one likes to party.
I'm listening. A cell. Why? Okay, it's Burger.
A very common name.
This is a portable recording device. It's for field recording. Low quality, but still. Actually, just one wire. I picked on it till the braiding came loose. The wire leads to a contact microphone. A contact mic records sounds from inside things, like this ice.
Your mangled brain would like you to know there is a boxer called Contact Mike. No idea.
Yeah, I record stuff with it. No. This is a contact microphone. It's for recording inside solid objects. Contact mic just beats people up. Same place I got the recorder from. The Elysium. Oh man. You haven't been to the Elysium? It's the coolest place in this whole drug-addled shithole. It's a music club and a synthesizer workshop on Boogie Street in Jamrock. Musicians live there, like real musicians. I once saw Arno van Eyck.
What's this option?
Oh yeah. Guess you wouldn't know Van Eyck. Or really be a Elysium going kind of person. Yes? Okay. Recording, I guess. I think I'm recording cracks in the ice, but there's no way to tell. Not without headphones. I think I just recorded your footsteps too. Not sure how that will sound. My boyfriend sold them. I don't know, man. Things. Just...
A lie. They were probably pawned off for something suspicious.
The musicians in the Elysium used them for making music. They looped the stuff, cutting... Anyway, I thought I'd make some too. I don't really know what I'm doing. They use synthesizers too.
Take this, you're cold.
No, man, fuck that, I'm cool. I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Okay.
The tent is just tarpaulin.
Come on! Get in and close the flap behind you. The warm stuff's getting out. Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead. I'm too old.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike delinquents.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his...
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair, aggressively so. You get imbecilic. Yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic. Like this, his grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg! Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers. You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Honest for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noit's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues. Yeah, it's a matter of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of Markomania on the coast.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face. Don't fall for it.
I'm talking about the church, and I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads. Burnouts.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that, in Revachol.
Strike that. The word.
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there are the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dopeheads and burnouts really are. Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
Yes. And the worst part is, they're also spooky. I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual
Do you
refuge.
have a key for the lock? That's all I want. Okay, the sticker is yours, I guess.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse. People just wanna spin tapes without them
Lock the
spooking it
building.
up.
Please? Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spook... All right, man.
Andre's obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is.
Yes. I asked Noy to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix. Just something to contain...
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
Noid watches you pick up the key with a smirk.
Not long. Like a week, maybe? I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 80%.
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here, there was something called exams. You may have learned the term involuntary manslaughter there.
Yes, I do. I listen to Channel 8 all the time. I know about crime stuff, and I assure you, officer, this is not what's happening here. I'm at least 80% sure they're alive. I mean, come on. Most people aren't ever that alive in their entire lives. I knew you'd get it. You're one smart cop.
It feels good to be the smart cop, doesn't it? That's a good cop to be. Has a nice ring to it. Smart cop. You wouldn't want to be stupid cop, now would you? But still, maybe he's just sucking up to you.
Oh, okay. I won't do that anymore. Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it. Oh yeah, that's a meteor and name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it.
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery.
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know? I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organisation. And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericanassian Church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the innocentic system, no? Totally.
That wasn't the answer I was looking for.
The Pericanassian Church is about love, and Nordic music is about love. I got love for my Pericanassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We dance. Love is hardcore.
Unity! Unity!
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
You feel it, the anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base, as if testing the waters.
Oh yeah, it can.
He's coming around. You're getting it.
Feels good.
Yeah! Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway,
The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving.
yes. What? Yeah, good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scattered the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water. Oh. It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of. He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved. A number of things don't add up. How about gather around, kids? The young speed freak puts down a busted capacitor and looks at you. The one with the large head seems very enthusiastic about whatever you have planned. Their would-be leader is less amused.
But you still are.
What happened? That's a real downer.
The young speed freak is silent.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
What do you mean, friend? It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music.
This may be the brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or one-speaker systems.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing. I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients. No shit. That's... Come on, that's... I meant to say, not true. What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. The optimal way to go about this would be indifference. It begins by you telling him you don't care about any of this.
Really? You wanted to just ask me about something else?
He thinks for a moment, then opens his mouth, but closes it again.
Things are just way too hard for an entrepreneur in this city. It's not like we're not going to turn the church into the wickedest club in East Reversholt.
Because we are! We totally are!
We just got to turn it into a speed lab first.
You know, to get our foot in the door.
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up. No, man, they're spooky all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there.
But the sign was way off too. I couldn't feel the love at all.
So, what now?
This is it. Judgment time.
We can continue on an amiable path, right? No more misunderstandings, no more lies. Before you go, is there anything else you need? Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses. Well, there's also the machinery. When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set the stuff up. Suddenly, there are all these strange machines lying around in there.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water.
Andre, tell him about the feed.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the...
No, the other
which other one? I'm not as in...
felt like silence. Awful silence.
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And you should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably, very likely. Like, you aren't alone.
It wasn't quite human, if you know.
Not human, as in a ghost. Do you know what he means?
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man. Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling, like a crab.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Odd. Crabs are usually marine creatures, and not known for climbing walls.
Crab man!
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. A cell was alone that time. But I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a...
You should ask her about it, but be nice.
There probably is no crab man. Don't let them draw you in with this nonsense.
Well, honestly, I can't. But I...
This is a below-feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
I'm 70% sure they're substance users. Don't let the Sure. What? As always?
Wow, so someone's been a little boring. Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown.
Okay.
No need to be defensive. The regularity, the brownness, the cut and dry have their appeal. A very standard appeal. Of course you do. Let's get right to it. My lord's copper type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax. Good, good. Of course. To outright declare yourself something does seem a bit too interesting now, doesn't it? I won't trouble you any further. A young man with peroxide blonde.
Hardcore! Hardcore! Hardcore is a mega! Internally coherent. Good morning, yeah! 1, 2, 3, Yakokata, the place to be! It's the message, so listen and you will...
Could there have been a right way out of this garden of forking paths?
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid. Good. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people for weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery.
I mean, this church is close to the R&D office of those engineers. I guess someone is storing their old equipments there, maybe.
Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked up Samaran science sign. You know, the kind that goes head first into the supernatural. Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the pleb. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders. A sticker? You mean the yellow one?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
So I can hear you do it. Sometimes the outside...
Noid, don't bother our guests with your game.
Piss off, Andre. Me and Mr. Copper try...
You shouldn't talk like that.
Cool. The ban on foul. Anyhow, what was the sticker like? Good, good. What did you want to know? Simplicity was brought to us by classical solarist modernism. Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. It's a warning shot. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing. It is. I guess one could write an entire treat.
Okay, I guess we'll end it here, and next time we'll talk to the girl, open the church, do some final checks on this island or peninsula before we go back to the main island and do the main quest. Okay, thank you for watching, see you next time.